The COVID-19 pandemic occurs at the beginning of 2020. COVID-19 is a disease caused by a coronavirus infection that attacks the respiratory system. COVID-19 can attack anyone quickly. On December 31, 2019, the China Center for Disease Control or CDC received a report of a COVID-19. The COVID-19 pandemic changes in various sectors, such as the economy, business, tourism, industry, education, and health. During this pandemic, education in Indonesia used an online system to suppress the spread of the COVID-19 in Indonesia. That hinders people's daily activities. Therefore, governments around the world are looking for drugs to ward off COVID-19. The Chinese government found a vaccine to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Vaccines are inactivating antigens that produce specific antibodies against that microorganism when given to healthy people. When exposed to them, they are immune and do not develop the disease. That's why vaccination is important to prevent the spread of COVID-19.
Vaccinated will help us from getting COVID-19. World Health Organization says that all the type of vaccine that currently available shown to be highly effective and safe. Vaccinated people are less likely to be hospitalized or die because vaccine will prevent a serious illness. COVID-19 has a much harder time spreading in vaccinated population, and by the time it can help end this pandemic, and these are why vaccine is really important from now. Firstly, vaccinated help us from getting seriously ill, and it also protect people around us. Secondly, vaccination it is a safer way to help build our protection known as immunity. And it is protecting us by creating antibodies. Thirdly, vaccination will be very important to help stop this pandemic. Besides of wearing masks and social distancing, we need to protect our body from the inside.
After we have been exposed to an infection, our immune system remembers the threat, in particular by producing antibodies. These are proteins that circulate in the blood and throughout the body. They quickly recognize and disable the invader upon contact, thereby preventing or minimizing illness. This is why we usually do not get sick with the same bug twice. We are immune. Vaccine mimic this process, encouraging the immune system to make antibodies without us having to go tough the illness. Some of the leading SARS-CoV-2 vaccine candidates are mRNA vaccine, based on incorporating the generic blueprint for the key spike protein on the virus surface into a formula that, when injected into humans, instruct our own cell to make the spike protein. In turn, the body then makes antibodies against the spike proteins, and they protect us against viral infection. This strategy is faster than more traditional approaches, which often involve denaturing, weakened, or inactivated forms of a live virus, or making large amounts of the spike protein to determine whether they can prompt an antibody's response. Once a potential vaccine is discovered, a number of checkpoints exist before it can be administered to people. First are preclinical tests, which involve experiments in a laboratory and with animals. Scientists must ensure the vaccine candidate is not only effective but also safe. For example, an antibody response to an imperfect vaccine could, under extremely rare circumstances, end up increasing the danger of becoming infected. When the potential vaccine achieves the necessary preclinical results, clinical trials can begin in a small group of people. As the vaccine candidate advances, it is tested on increasing number of people, with scientists and doctors closely monitoring safety, efficacy, and dosing. Upon successful completion or clinical trials, the vaccine candidate must be reviewed and approved by regulatory agencies such as the FDA before large-scale manufacturing and distribution gets underway and the lion's vaccine is administered widely.
Vaccine which will teach your body how to fight the COVID-19 sickness. The vaccine will protect your family and your community from getting sick from COVID-19. Vaccine is strongly recommended. Make sure you get the vaccine when it is your turn. You can get the vaccine in the health facility or vaccination center. You may think of vaccination as something only children need, but all adults also need to be vaccinated to protect their health. Before you get the vaccine, the clinic will ask about your biodata, such as name, date of birth, and family members. Then you will have to sign a consent form to get the vaccine. After you get the needle, the nurse will get you to stay for 15 minutes to make sure you are okay. If you have done the first vaccination, the nurse will tell you the schedule for your second vaccination. It is really important to get 2 confirmed vaccination to get the best protection for our health. At the end, your status will be recorded on a national register, and then you will get a certificate that showing you have been vaccinated.